Ladi Yakubu here, and I want to welcome you back to my channel. So today we're going to be looking at the exam that gives people high blood pressure. I'm talking about the multiple choice questions, the type you refer to as the objective exam. And most times, most objective exams, just like JAMB and the likes, are always computer based. So it's like double wahala here. So you are writing your exam in front of a computer screen, and then you are dealing with multiple choice questions. But today I'm going to be sharing with you tips that will work, tips that when you apply them you will come out in flying colors. Number one, read the questions carefully. I cannot overemphasize this because one of the biggest mistakes that students make is to rush. They just rush into answering the question. Now don't rush, because sometimes you see questions that say which of the following is not a function of so and so, or they can say which of the so and so are functions of the following except. So if you don't pay attention to all those things, or you rush to go and answer, you might miss it. 2, read the options before choosing. I can't even overemphasize this. If you rush to go and answer any question, you might discover that you have actually choose the wrong question, because now they might ask you something. For instance, who is the father of sociology? And then option A say Karl Marx, because you see Karl Marx, and Karl Marx is a very popular name that you hear all the time. You now go and choose Karl Marx. Meanwhile, option B has things like Max Weber, and then option D has Auguste Comte. Now Auguste Comte is actually the correct answer, but because you have rushed to go and choose Karl Marx, you have failed that one. So always calm down and read everything. Read all your options from A to D before you pick your answer. Tip number 3, use elimination method. What you need to do is, if you're unsure of any answer, first of all pick out or sieve out the ones that you know are not the answer. This one is a banger. Like, you need to use it because it will help you. All you need to do is, once you read a question and then you don't know what it is, or you're trying to think what it is, first of all, if you see anything that does not look like the answer to that question, remove it, eliminate it from the options that you want to choose. So once you do that, your brain has space to breathe so that you can then choose the correct answer. So what is the tip number 4 I'm going to share with you? You need to watch out for extreme words. Now when I say extreme words, I'm looking at words like always, never, all, only. All of these words can make the option to be very suspicious. For example, we could say that effective communication always guarantees agreements. True or false? Now it's possible that communication guarantees agreements, right? But is it always? Is it every time you communicate with someone that both of you agree? The answer is no. So you need to look out for that word. So that word always is a problem, because like I said, communication does not always guarantee that there will be agreement or a mutual agreement at the end of it. Sometimes you can quarrel with someone. You know that quarreling is communication, right? But in that quarreling, there's no agreement at the end. Both of you did not come to a logical conclusion and say, okay, this is what we want to do. You understand? So always look out for those words. Another one is except. Now, a question can say so and so are functions of this except. They are trying to tell you that the one that is not a function. So if you do not pay attention to such extreme words, you are already setting yourself up to fail. So another tip I want to share with you is that don't spend forever on one question. So it's possible that you come across a question and then you are trying to put your thoughts together. You don't know it. Nothing is coming to your head. Skip it first. If you're on question 7 or question 2, and then you notice that the answer is not coming to your head, or you don't know it, just move on to question 3. You will come back to answer that. But don't dwell on one question so much that you spend all the time on it, right? Okay. Another tip is be careful with all of the above, none of the above options. Now these options are very tricky. For example, which of the following are functions of mass communication? A, education. B, entertainment. C, information dissemination. D, all of the above. Now if A, B and C are correct individually, like on their own they are correct, then the answer to that question is likely D, because all 3 of that questions are correct, and then D says all of the above. So you know that D is the answer. So please do not choose blindly. Make sure to confirm properly before you choose. Okay, so another thing you need to take note of is be very careful when changing answers. I know that a lot of students panic, especially when they are writing computer-based exam and then it is multiple choice. For example, you first selected B as the answer to that question, then suddenly you start shivering, you are afraid, like, what if this thing is not correct, or what if the answer is C? Then your friend that is maybe in another hall just coughs, or somebody just scratched their head, and then you are like, maybe that's the time for me to change my answer, and then you immediately change the answer from B to C. Don't do that. Please control yourself. If the answer that you first of all choose came from actual reasoning, don't change it carelessly. That is like you are setting yourself up to fail. The other thing you need to do is always practice before the exam day. Now, I understand that some students know the course, but they are always fighting with the computer itself. So please, beforehand, try to practice. Do mock exams. If you even go online, there are some platforms that help you do mock CBT questions. You attempt questions like that so that you can master the act before that day. Another thing is, make sure you stay calm when a question looks unfamiliar. We are going to meet this kind of things a lot, especially if you're a beginner in your field. Now, sometimes examiners can rephrase what you already know because they just want to confuse you a bit and see how fast you can think. For example, instead of asking you what is inflation, they are now asking you that a persistent increase in the general price of goods is known as. The person is just trying to tell you the same thing. They are just using different words. So don't panic, or read it carefully, study it carefully, and then you will see that it's something that you already know. Another tip is, if you finish early and time allows you, please review all your answers calmly. Like, review everything calmly. You may, in the process of reviewing, see some answers that you do not answer correctly, some questions that you even skipped without knowing, and then there are sometimes you accidentally click on the wrong answer instead of the right one. So always go through all of those things. So that 1 extra minute of checking can rescue you from unnecessary failure or unnecessary loss of mark. What I needed to know is, CBT exams are not only testing what you studied, they are also testing your attention, they are testing your calmness, and then they are also testing your strategy. Most times the students who pass CBT exams are not the ones who stay up all night to cram everything they need to answer, but the ones who actually stay calm throughout the exam and think carefully enough to pick the right answers to the right questions. At the end of the day, the goal here is not to finish first, it is actually to finish well. So if this video has helped you, I need you to share it with someone who you know is preparing for tests or exams, multiple choice, and all of that. So also let me know in the comment section which area of this video touched you the most. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.